You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies, and it will be windy. An afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, a low around 43. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers, storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at CoppellCars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
All right, welcome into On the Block. I am not Austin Orman. I am Harrison Arns on the ones and twos back at 1040 O Street on the corner at the Ticket Studios. We got Jay Foreman on the Aldo VIP line. Really understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. We'll have Eric Strickland joining us later on a shortened version of On the Block today. But Jay Foreman, how's it going on a somewhat cloudy of a Tuesday here?
Yeah, it's cloudy, windy, a little bit of rain earlier today, but nevertheless, man, you know, you got to appreciate what you got going on. And also, I want to give a shout out to Nick and Austin pulling the heavyweight, you know, with great calls for state baseball, you know, and keeping it exciting all day long.
Yeah, and shout out, I mean, those guys have been out there. They'll be out there again tomorrow. They were out there all day yesterday. And I will say this much. I am pleased to see that we are on schedule. I was really doubtful they were going to be able to get all the games in yesterday with the weather, but it went right around Warner Park what felt like all day. So we're able to get all the games in there. Excuse me, and luckily just keep it rolling.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way, and it sounds like there's been some really good baseball, and as we start to get into elimination time, gets more intense. And so, the Bennington game, they just went 12 innings with who they play, I think tomorrow. So they're looking for a little bit of revenge. And so it's look, anytime you get to play for a state championship, it's a big deal. Competitive juices come out, but ultimately it brings in some of that high school spirit and memories for these young athletes that get to participate.
Yeah, and we got to get back on the clock here, so we only got about 5 minutes left on the segment. So, Jay, I'll ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked you this. Did you play baseball at all growing up?
I did. I played my first 2 years. I wanted to pitch. I was decent. My grandfather played, so I played, and coach didn't get me in, and I started to take off a little bit in basketball, and I took up most of the summers. And so, I always had, a lot of my friends, and I'd go watch, but, I wouldn't call myself, baseball first guy. I did not like the lack of action. Or maybe we weren't that good, but I needed a little bit more action.
Yeah, I was curious.
I think it's a sport. I like it, man. I grew up, watching it all the time, and really good friends with Kirby Puckett and players like that, Darren Glad, and some of the Minnesota Twins from yesteryears. And so, baseball is definitely in the Foreman household.
Now, when you were playing baseball for the Huskers in the 90s, as there was Husker baseball, I believe they play today in the Big Ten tournament. I'll have to double check on that. But, what was Husker baseball like when you guys were dominant in your era? When Tom Osborne was coaching the football program, what was Husker baseball doing?
Yeah, I think, for my memory serves me right, it was definitely always competitive. And, I can tell you a funny story before we go to break and turn it over to Strick, is that, Darren Erstad was a punter. And, he was an excellent athlete, and he was a, great punter. So I just thought always kind of knew, that as a, punter. So I remember they were saying, oh, yeah, he plays baseball too. And they were like, oh, he's pretty good. And I was like, oh, okay, dual sport athlete, Nebraska's baseball is not like Texas. So, you can get a guy that wants to play baseball and he's a specialist. So like, okay, physically, really wasn't a big ask of him because, he's a punter. Well, here we go, lo and behold, and obviously Darren goes and plays baseball and does really well, and he's the number one pick. But I didn't know it. So I ran into him at a house party and was glad to see him because I read it in the Daily Nebraskan, of all things, that, Darren Erstad goes number one. And I asked him, I was like, man, did you really go number one? I didn't really know you were that good at baseball. And, to Darren's credit, even to like today, he's always very humble. He doesn't like to, get, talk, or at least around me, he doesn't, brag about his, how great he was or anything like that. But that just lets you know, how great he was. He went number one, and he's hanging out with us, and it was no big deal. And then obviously went on to have a great career in the major leagues. And they had quite a few other players that were really good as well. I don't know the pitcher's name. I know he got drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, which is, I grew up in D.C., and that was one of my favorite teams besides the Twins. But he was playing for the Frederick Keys, which was, I think, the AAA affiliate of the Orioles. And I was back seeing my family in Frederick, Maryland. And so I did get to go check whoever that pitcher was from Nebraska. So I used to follow some of the Nebraska players, especially after Darren Erstad went number one. And I was probably the dumbest guy in the house party that didn't know that Darren Erstad went number one in the Major League Baseball draft.
Well said. And I looked it up because I had to make sure. So it's not Michigan. Nebraska baseball plays today. Michigan State, and that one is at 6 o'clock Tuesday as they start the Big Ten tournament play. Jay Foreman, I'll ask you this: what does Nebraska baseball have to do to keep their season alive? Because they're going to have to go on an absolute heater of a run in the Big Ten tournament for any hope of regionals.
Well, you just stated it right there. Get it on a heater. Play to the potential that you had going into the preseason hype, which you're fully capable of, and you've seen it in short spurts this year. So if you get it all together, obviously it starts with the pitching, and obviously then the secondary comes with the hitting. If they can find their rhythm and get some breaks to go their way, they could, last well into the semifinals and championship game. Because it's not a talent thing. It's just more or less you just didn't get out of the starting block as good as Coach Bolt and everybody else would have liked, and some guys got mixed up a little bit. But I think if they can get things going on in the right way early, I think that confidence will go from the first batter to number 9, and then after that, then you start making the plays in the field, in the pitcher, and then next thing you know, you're doing what Nebraska was supposed to do at the beginning of the season, but you're getting it done late in the season.
Yeah, and that's the hope that they can continue a little bit of what they had towards the end of the season. They've never really had a dominant stretch, but towards the end there, they're at least winning 2 out of what felt like 3 out of a lot of those last Big Ten series. This tournament as a whole too, and then we'll get out of here. But this Big Ten baseball tournament, I mean, how much chaos are you expecting in it? This is a massive tournament, and it's going to be like these for a lot of these. The SEC is going to be just as chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you want, right? I mean, obviously, I guess the blue bloods or the favorite teams would, want you to kind of coast right through it. But I think the competitive balance, at least in baseball, is there. And when you have teams that are right around each other, and maybe some teams have success early and some have late, and some have been waiting for that, that get back. I think you're going to see some upsets, but then also I think you're going to see a lower seeded team go on a run and potentially, get the championship game. And that's both in the Big Ten and the SEC, where you think of like teams like a Texas A&M, isn't as they were, but they're more than capable. And then obviously everybody looks at Tennessee, but you got to think that there's other teams in both conferences that can make a run. And so I think, it's going to make potentially for must watch and must listen TV and radio. So hopefully it holds true.
Absolutely. And like I said, Husker baseball, they play tonight at 6:00, and then also softball. They came out of the Baton Rouge regional. They're headed to the super regional, then facing Tennessee. And I believe that one is the 23rd, so that won't be till Friday. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. We'll have Eric Strickland join us on the other side. Jay Foreman, appreciate it as always. We will throw it to break. This is On the Block. That's Jay Foreman. I'm Harrison Arns. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
All right, welcome back in. Airs and Arms on the 1s and 2s. Switching up, we got Eric Strickland. Well, we did have Eric Strickland on the Allo VIP line. We must have lost him, but that's all right. We only got a little bit of time here left. And Strickland, if you're out there listening, feel free just to go ahead and call back, as I do believe we're getting Strickland on the line shortly here. But in the meantime, we'll talk a little bit of NBA, as I'm sure that's where Strickland will want to go when he does hop in here inevitably. But later tonight, we do got at 7:30 Minnesota Timberwolves, OKC Thunder. That is the first game in the Western Conference Finals Series. Let's go ahead and try it again. Eric Strickland, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on, Harrison?
Perfect. I thought I lost you for a second there, Strickland.
Yeah. What's going on, man? What's happening now in good old Lincoln on the block?
I'll tell you what, it's been rainy and windy, but baseball's still been happening. We've been able to get all the games in. Yesterday I was talking to Jay Foreman about it, remarkably so, considering there felt like big storms were all around Warner Park. They were able to get them all in, despite having to switch up the times a little bit. Worked out. Today we're still on schedule. We got another game at 4:00 and one more at 7:00, so 2 more games tonight, and then they'll be back out there again tomorrow. So, shout out to Nick Sainer and Austin Norman as well, just for being out there as long as they are for all these days.
Braving. Definitely, the weather is something to be spoken for. But if anybody can get it done, it's Nick Sainer, and definitely my partner, Austin Norman.
Well said, Strickland. So what do you want to talk about? I mean, we do got the first game of the Western Conference Finals starting tonight, and then in the Eastern Conference Finals, you got the Pacers-Knicks starting tomorrow. Tonight 7:30, tomorrow in the East 7:00 tip-off. Strickland, what are you thinking? First for tonight's game in the Western Conference between the Timberwolves and the Thunder.
Well, there's a couple of things. One, I was having a debate about, the way that the schedule was set up, because it makes you feel as if one conference has been slighted before the other. And, it's just not the case. You have to look at whether it would have been a game 7, and they have to kind of plan it out and plot it out as if it would have been. And so it looks as if, one conference is getting a little bit longer rest than the other, and the other's got to jump right into it. But I'm intrigued by the matchup. There's no doubt. You've got to give absolute credit to what Oklahoma City had done, and it's a beautiful thing to watch because you can see the growth. You saw some of the growth in Denver. You've seen it in other teams. You've even seen it in the Timberwolves. You've seen it even in the Knicks. You saw what happened with injuries, obviously, that left Indiana in trouble. And so you've seen those teams have great resilience and perseverance, and were able to just put it together, learn their lessons, grow from them, even when there's adversity that's facing them. So this matchup is going to be very intriguing. Shea is most likely, to me, definitely going to be the MVP. What he was able to do in Game 7 to put them through. But listen, the Timberwolves has something that OKC does as well, and that's they have a capability of not only defending. They have a rim protector, they have length, they have athleticism, and they have versatility. And that, in one instance, you have Williams, not Jalen, the other one, for OKC, who didn't play as much in this last just due to the matchups. And then you have Caruso that shows up big for them, but it could change in this game. But they have the depth to do that, and so do the Timberwolves. They have the ability to go with different types of lineups and different types of matchups. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
How much of the narrative is going to be the Anthony Edwards versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Because there is part of it where Shai is, who I think as well is probably going to win the MVP, just based on what I'm seeing. I'd give it to Jokic, but MVP, it's a great season. I'm not going to sweat about it too much if he does get it. But you're going to have that, and then Anthony Edwards, who right now feels like he's been pushing to be the face of the league. He's been certainly capturing the eyes of the NBA fan base, and you do have a guy who's likely going to be the MVP. How much of a battle are you expecting just from Anthony Edwards going at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
So, Harrison, I'm going to be honest with you. This is where I'm hoping. If the NBA is smart, they'll stray away from that context, right? They've got to get back to not making it individual matchups and get it back to teams with individuals that lead. You understand what I'm saying? So what I mean by that, Harrison, is you look back and some of the elevation of NBA basketball came in the era where yes, you had Magic Johnson, but you also had Kareem, and you had Worthy, and you had Cooper. And it wasn't just that you focused on Magic Johnson, even though he was an anomaly of a player, right? You look at the Pistons. Yes, we know we had Isaiah Thomas, but just as effective and also relevant was Lane Beer and Adrian Dantley and Mark Aguirre and the microwave. My mind's drawing a blank on that. Joe Dumars, right? You had the bad boys. You can continue on, and you go and look at those New York teams. Yes, it was led by Ewing, but you knew Starks, and it was that. You want to get back to that because that's what's going to draw the casual fans, I think, back in. If you continue to go self-reliance on the Steph Curry and the LeBron James model, that model's starting to fade. I think they should use this as an opportunity to get back to rivalries and team and that whole concept.
Yeah, that's a whole era in itself. Is like so much of the fan base around the NBA today is more attached to the players. And Vinnie Johnson,
right?
That's who you were thinking.
And you
of.
had the Celtics doing the same thing with Bird, right? You knew Ainge, you knew Chief, you knew McHale.
Well, the Jordan Bulls were the same thing, right? You knew Jordan, but you also knew Pippen, you knew Kukoc, you knew Rodman when he got there. You also knew the head coach and Phil Jackson. I think the head coach part gets lost a little bit. When you look at all these dynasties, people always forget about it. It takes a good coach to be a part of that process. And that's where I always get a little bit annoyed by the team hopping process so much because to me, it always feels like you hurt your chances of ever finding that coach who fits you that can actually build up a system into that dynasty. And instead, we're just hopping teams every offseason. You never get a chance to build that continuity. And I do think the Nuggets probably would be in the Western Conference Finals right now if they didn't fire Malone.
Yeah, I think so too. The difference between them is, to me, in that whole series though, as well, Harrison, I think they had to play perfect. Like they, even when you saw Jokic go buck wild and go nuts, they still came up short, right? Because they have to play dang near, they have to make big shots. They have to do things in which OKC didn't have to because they play such good defense. They get turnovers. They're able to run. They do so many different things that they didn't have to just rely on perfection from Shea or from any one particular person.
Yeah, and throughout those entire 7-game series, the Thunder was gambling the entire time of throwing 4 bodies around Jokic. If Michael Porter Jr. happens to hit the 3, we'll tip the cap. But obviously with his shoulder injury, Aaron Gordon, he was having some really great moments, but like history says, he's not that elite of a shooter, so they just kept trusting it. Jamal Murray didn't have the playoff run that you were necessarily hoping for what he's known for. And it worked. It worked enough. Just throw enough bodies at Jokic, and you're going to win more games than not, and they close it out in 7.
That's it. That's exactly right. And it makes a difference when you're at home. That's what that home court advantage can do for you.
Yeah, and another home court advantage. Strick, what was it like playing against the Indiana Pacers when you were in the NBA? Was it a good environment? I'm trying to think what the Pacers' record would even be in that era.
I mean, playing for them and playing against them, yeah. I've got a chance to play at the time it was Conseco Fieldhouse. And also I got to play, I think a year, maybe year or 2 in the Market Square Arena, which is a very old arena. But the atmosphere is good. The atmosphere is good both on, I only really faced them in the regular season. Played in the playoffs with the team. We lost. We lost, I want to say, I think we lost to the Celtics when I was there. That was that one where Austin sometimes teased me. At least you didn't have to take that eyeball sandwich from Paul Pierce. Where there's a video of Al Harrington pushing me out of the way so that he could take that eyeball sandwich from Paul. But the atmosphere is definitely good, man. It's good. They're really good fans. They're educated fans. They know their sport. So yeah, it's a good atmosphere.
I asked that because it's good to see the Pacers this far. Even last year, Last year I got a little bit annoyed by it, and I'm curious what your thoughts were, but they got a lot of flack for only being there because all the other teams had to deal with injuries, which was, yes, it's true, but there's also truth that the Pacers were building something. And last year, I think, a lot of people saw it, and a lot of people, for whatever reason, were also writing it off. But what you also see is, man, that fan base loves Indiana Pacer basketball. Like, that seems to me like one of the sneaky venues of when you look for places that are electric or loud, it almost feels like a college March Madness game. Like Indiana, those games are fun to watch when that crowd's out there. And they got another chance in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they don't even have to play the Celtics to get to the final. So you got that cherry on top as well. It's awesome. I'm excited for the Pacers. Your thoughts before we go to break on the Pacers and Knicks series, and then we'll dive into a little bit more detail in the third segment.
If you're the Knicks, you got to hope that you don't fall into any injury situations because they have a short bench. They don't play with much depth. So this is going to be, how can the Knicks control tempo and not allow Indiana to get into a speed game with them? And if they do have to run, they have to transition back. They can't be lackadaisical because then that'll create easy opportunities for Indiana. But how much energy and stamina is the Knicks going to have, being that they play a short bench? If this becomes a long series, I might tip my hand to Indiana, in that situation, as long as they're playing well and making big shots. But the difference on the other side, they have big shot makers. And yes, Halliburton can make big shots. We've seen that a couple times in game-winning shots that he's made. But that other side, they have a few of them that can make big shots when needed.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. And to your point, especially if it goes to game 7, right? Like, we've watched enough Coach Tibbs to know what he feels about tired legs. He doesn't care. You're going to go out there and you're going to keep playing the minutes that he had originally designated for you. So with that being said, we'll throw it to our final break here for On the Block, and then we'll come back for one more, and then we should be back with some more state high school baseball. So don't go anywhere. On the Block, Eric Strickland, Harrison Arns. We'll talk to you on the other side.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Welcome summer with Red, White, and Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open this Memorial Day from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs or a family pack loaded with your favorite choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous barbecue sauce. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends and let Hog Wild do the cooking. Order online at gohogwild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and it will be windy. An afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, a low around 43. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers, storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, what are you talking about over there?
Huh?
I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play, because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
All right, welcome back in. Super short segment here as we get ready to send it back to Austin Orman, Nick Sainer down there for some more baseball. Up next, we got Millard West versus Millard South. And then at 7 o'clock, we got Elkhorn South versus Papillion La Vista South. Earlier today in some Class B action, we did have the Bennington Badgers win 4-2 over the Seward Blue Jays. And then also in the morning, 10 a.m., the Gretna East Griffins defeat the Waverly Vikings 6-0. So, like I said before, we still got a couple games left here. Next one starting up shortly, and then one more at 7 o'clock. 6 to 7, we'll have a 1 hour brief show. I think me and DP will chop back and forth for an hour to bring us to that 7 o'clock game. But nonetheless, we got to get out of here. So I will throw it to break. On the other side, you will be joined by Nick Sainert and Austin Orman for some more Class A state baseball. So appreciate you guys listening, but don't go anywhere. More baseball comes your way next.